So let's begin with our program. So before we begin with the training, I just want to let you know that since this is a basic Excel program, so I'll be covering everything from the scratch. So it may happen that some of you are already aware about the features. All right, so let's begin. I'll click on Start Windows and I'll open my Excel program. All right, here we go. So this is how the page looks like. Now, what you see here is a page. Now, if you see, there are different pages named as sheet 1, sheet 2, 3, and if you see, it says insert worksheet, which means I can create as many pages as I want to. So basically these pages are called as sheets also. Now what you see here, these small blocks that you see on the screen, now these are called as cells. What is the function of cells? Well, a cell can be used to type or to enter number. That's the function of cells. So guys, this particular page is divided into different cells in the form of, like, there are vertical columns to it and there are horizontal rows to it. So just for your information, the vertical cells ranges from number 1 to 10,48,576. That's quite a huge number. And the horizontal rows ranges from number 1 to 16,384. So this is just good for information. Okay, so now if we see over here, now these are different toolbars, like the home, then we see insert, and then we see page layout, formulas, data. So if you see, every toolbar has different tools to it, and every tool has different functions. So we'll be learning these functions. However, we'll be understanding, or probably will cover, only the most commonly used tools. Alright, now we are going to learn each tools one by one. However, we'll be learning it while we are creating a particular report. Okay, so now I'll just take a quick sample of that report. Okay, so now if you see that we have already got one format ready over here. So this is like a mark sheet. Okay, so all we can see is the first tab consists of the roll number, then we see the name of the students, and then we see the subjects accordingly, like English, maths, science, the geography, and history. Now these are the marks obtained by different students. Okay, now first thing, what are we going to learn? So let's quickly take a look. Alright, so what are we going to learn in home tab? So these are the things that we're going to learn. Number 1, we're going to learn how to change the text format by using the font option. Next, we're going to look at the setting up alignment, how to set up alignment and make your data more organized. Then we're going to look at using different styles function, and we're going to look at sort and filtering the data. Alright, so coming back to our sheet, now over here, it's a format where we need to enter the roll numbers of each student. So I'm just going to take an hypothetical example, like number 1, 2. Now here is a trick. So if you have a number, if you want to enter the number, and that also in the format of series, if the number is in a form of series, and all you have to do is just click and drag over here, and then get to the end of that cursor and just double click on it. You'll automatically get the series in place. Now since we have already got the data in place, we have learned how to put if the numbers are in series, how to quickly get those numbers synced. Now what are we going to look at is using different functions. So let's start with the font tab. So now my data doesn't look a bit organized over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the entire data over here, and I'm gonna go to font, and there is one function that says bottom border. So what I'm gonna do is there are different functions or probably features what you can select and apply. So all I'm gonna do is all borders. So this is probably one of my favorite. It makes things easier for me. All right, so after you select this particular option, so all you can do is since this is the heading of my data, so I'm gonna bold it. So I'm just gonna go to the font tab, and I'm gonna select the bold option. You can also change the styles. You can select italic, or if you just want something where you need your data to be underlined, you can select that. But over here all I'll do is I'll just keep it simple bold, because this is gonna be the heading of my report card. Now along with this, we're also going to look at different functions. So for example, now since this is the heading of my report and I need my report card to look attractive, so I'm just gonna go here. So if you see, there is an option that says font color, so I can either change the font color. You see the color of the font is automatically changing, so maybe these are the dark colors. um, I can select I can change the text color, but over here I don't want to change the text color. I'm happy with the keeping the text color to be black, but I would definitely like to change the background, the cell fill color. So I'm just gonna select this. Okay, so that's how you can use functions to cell fill color. Okay, so the name of this particular tool is fill color. Okay, now sometimes it may happen that you also want to change the format of your text. So all you can do is just select the format of your names, and if you go here, so you'll be able to change the font text. So there are different texts how you can select. Maybe if I select Algerian, if you see, the name automatically gets changed, but I think I'll just keep it Calibri. So this is one of the standard formats that has been used across the industry. And simultaneously, just in case if you want to increase the font size, you can also come over here. Over here you can find there is an option that says the font size, and you can just simply select whatever you want to. You see that the font is changing, the size is changing, so that's how you can select it. I'll just keep it to 11. So guys, this was all about the how to use the font option, the font toolbar. Now let's get back to the other toolbar. Okay, so now we are gonna quickly check about the alignment, how to do alignment. So let's say this is my data, but probably I don't feel that this data is aligned properly, so I want to align it properly. So all I'm gonna do is just click and drag and select the range of my data that I want to align, and over here I can find different options. So if you see, this one says align text left, so if I click here, the data will move to the left of my text cell. If I click right, it will move to the right, but over here I just want it to be simple, neat and proper, so I'm just going to click on the middle alignment, and here we go. Now sometimes it may happen that you might just want to write down the name of your school, maybe primary school. But what usually happens is, so this doesn't cover the entire portion over here, so I'm just gonna quickly teach you about how to merge this data. So all you have to do is just click and drag the range until where you want to actually want your data, where you want the heading, the super heading, the bold heading to look merged with your particular document. So all you can do is go to alignment. Over here you can see there is something that says merge and center, so just click on it, it will automatically come. And then if you want, you can just simply go here, and maybe if you want to give fill the text color, you can do so. and then again if you want you can just select everything and just go to font, all borders, and just click on it. So this is how it goes. Primary school. Now there is something called a style, so let's quickly take a look at the style. So over here we see different options which says, like, cell styles and conditional formatting. So the most commonly used feature in this would be the conditional formatting one. Now there are certain conditions or different conditions that how you can put on your data. So for example, this is my condition. Okay, so these are the subject, these are the marks. I'm just gonna select everything together. I'm gonna go to conditioning, and now over here what I want, how do I want my data to look like. For example, if I just want to know how many people have cleared their exam, so these are the marks, and let's consider an example that 35 is what the passing score is. So let's just go to conditional formatting, click on highlight cell rules. Now I want to know how many people have cleared their exams. So I just want to give a quick bifurcation to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on greater than. So if I select greater than, so it will ask me to enter a certain number. So the number is going to be greater than 35. So greater than 35, and then over here I'll find one option that says how you want the data to look like, like the number of people who are above 35, who have scored above 35, how to look at their numbers. So I'm just going to select 35, and then I'm going to select this third option that says green fill with data screen text. Okay, and I'm just going to click on OK. So this will actually give me a bifurcation as to how many people have cleared their subjects. Now what about the ones who have not cleared? So I can again go and put a conditional formatting to it. So I'm just going to select less than. So I want to know how many people have scored less than 35, and I'm going to keep it light red field with dark red text. So I'm just going to click on OK. So here is how I get a bifurcation, that there are 2 people who have not cleared their exams. So this is one way of getting my numbers in place. Alright, so this is how the functions is done. This is how we were able to add a condition to it, and we were able to obtain different different outcome by applying different conditions. Okay, now we are going to look at the formulas. Alright, now we are going to quickly look at the how to apply different formulas. So now since we have the roll number, name, students, we already got the subject, we already got the passing score, we already got the numbers, the scoring scores of the people. Now what we are going to do is we're going to put a condition over here, that is grand total. I want to know what was the total that a student has actually scored. So let's quickly do this. So I'm gonna click okay, so before we begin with this, I am just gonna quickly show you how to use the formula. Alright, so if you look over here, so the formulas will always start with an equal to sign. So before you start entering a formula, an equal to sign is important. So I've just quoted in inverted commas. So the equal to sign is what you're going to use before you type in any formula. So formulas can be entered in either the formula tab, the formula bar, or directly in this cell, into the cell. So I'm just going to show you how it's done. Okay, so if you check this is the formula bar. So I'm gonna select the particular cell where I want a formula, and I'm just gonna go to the formula bar. So over here, if I click on equal to, my formula starts. So there are different, every different every formula has a different function or different category to it. So for example, if I want to do a sum, so all I'm gonna do is equal to sum, which means addition, adding the number of cells in a range of cells. So for example, if I click on sum, and I'm gonna give it a range to it, which means I'm gonna open the bracket. By opening the bracket, you will be giving a range to it. So I want to know what is the total marks this person has scored in his exam. So I'm gonna total it all. I have already selected the range from English to history, and now I'm gonna close the bracket. Okay, so my formula, I have entered the formula. Okay, so the formula is equal to sum selecting the range of the subjects, and then just enter. That's it. You get the total number, the total amount. So all you have to do is, again, just the way we have entered the series, similarly I'm just gonna go here, hover the mouse and just go, wait until the mouse, until I see the addition tab over here, and I'm just going to double click on it. It automatically gives me the number. So Excel makes your life very easy when it comes to making a data or making a report and doing the addition, subtraction. So that's how the primary use of Excel. So now after I've entered the numbers, I'm just gonna quickly again organize it. Just go to all borders. I'm gonna give it an alignment to it. The primary school, I want to extend this, so I'm just gonna select the range till the end of this, and then I'm gonna merge it. Yeah, here we go. And I'm gonna bold this also. Okay, so this is how the total is. Now what we are going to do is, I'm just going to quickly add after adding the grand total, I'm just going to quickly add the percentage, because I want to know what is the percentage this each student has scored. So just prior to that, I'm going to keep the total marks. So total marks, again, there are 5 subjects, and is equal to 5 subjects into each subject. Let's say it was for 100 marks. So this is how the calculation is. So it starts with an equal to sign, total of 5 subjects, asterisk sign, which means will be my multiplication sign. So 5 into 100 is what the total score of that subject was, total marks for that subject was. I'm just gonna enter. So I got the number. Again, I'm gonna go to addition, and I'm just gonna click and drag over here. Okay, now we're gonna quickly check what is the percentage that this person has actually scored. So what we're gonna do is, I want to check the percentage. Alright, so this is one of the conditions that I'm gonna put here. Now again, to select a percentage, so there are different formulas, guys. You'll have to actually research, and probably what I'll do is, just to make things easier, I'll also try to put an Excel sheet, so that will, in the description, so that will help you to use shortcuts on your keyboards, and what are the formula ranges, how you can do, or how you can learn. So I'll try to put some of these tips and tricks, so that will be helpful for you guys. So when I want to enter the percentage, so the mathematical calculation for percentage is, it always starts with an equal to sign in Excel, is equal to, so my total marks that has been obtained by a student divided by the total marks of that particular subject. So again, I'm just repeating it. So equal to the total marks obtained by a student divided by the total marks of that subject. That will give me a percentage. So at times it may happen that you may not get this percentage sign. So in that case, all you have to do is just go to the numbering tab over here, and you see percentage. You can just type in percentage. These are the decimals. If you want the number in decimal format, you can. If you don't want the number in decimal format, just minimize, decrease the decimal numbers. So I'm just going to keep it over here, and again, either I can click and drag over here. That's one of the options, or else I can just simply double click. That's alright. So we're just alright, guys, so now we're gonna just quickly add one condition to our data. So this is how our data looks like, neat and tidy. And now this is one condition that I'll be adding over here, which is so 2 tabs I'll be adding. One is the passing percentage, and the other one is the status. Okay, so passing percentage, we are going to consider that 35% is what the passing percentage is for each student. Now in status, now I want to apply a formula with a condition. So I'm just gonna show you one formula, how to use it and apply with conditions. So the formula starts with an equal to sign, and the condition and the formula for condition we are going to use it is if. So again I'm going to repeat that. So it's going to be is equal to if I'm going to open the bracket so that I can now select the range. So I'm just going to give the first range. So now my condition is I want to check the percentage whether this person has passed or not. So this particular percentage, if this criteria is less than the passing percentage, then it's a comma. So if this percentage, which means if 52% is less than 35%, then in that case my condition is that this person has failed the exam. That is one condition. Second criteria, I'm going to put it as if that person has not failed, then I'm going to put a status as that person has actually passed. So this is how the condition is. It may look a bit complicated, but if you keep on the more you practice, you will easily get to know. So this is something that I want to show you, and just I'm going to enter. So it shows that this person has actually passed, and let's quickly check the status of other, and I think everyone has passed. Awesome. So just to show you guys, so for example, if this person, rather than scoring a 56, if this person would have scored maybe a 34%, then in that case the person would have failed the exam. Alright, so I can also put a condition over here stating that conditional formatting, highlight the cells, and now over here, since we have text over here, we don't have any numbers, but we have a text over here. So there is one more condition formatting, like condition formatting, highlight cell rules, and then over here I can select text that contains. So all I can do is select passed. If a person has passed, then the text will be green in color. So I'm going to put one more condition stating that if the text would have contained something like a student would have failed, then it would have been in red color. So the condition has already been applied. Now let's go back to the same example where a person, rather than scoring a 56%, if a person would have scored a 34%, then he would have failed it, and eventually, that's how our report would have looked like. So that's all about how you can actually use the formulas, how you can put conditions to it, how you can apply the different conditions to it. So that's how the data looks like, aligning it, merging it, selecting the entire range, and just giving it all borders, or probably we have learned how to do alignment. So just to give you a quick summary, so far what we have learned is how to change the text formatting, how to do setting up of alignment, how to use different styles, the sort and filter data, how to click on the formula that should always start with an equal to sign. Formulas can be entered in either formula tab or directly in the cell, and applying condition with formulas. So I'm just going to quickly cover this sort and filter data. Okay, so how we are going to sort this data. So now I want to know which person has scored first, which means which person has actually scored the highest percentage. So I'm going to select this entire range over here. I'm gonna go to my sort and editing, so which is the editing tool. So I'm gonna go over here. I am gonna click on, either I can put a filter over here, so that will have filters on each cell. So that is one condition I can do, and then I can just click on this filter and I can select largest to smallest. So that's how I can get to know. So we see Kailash has scored the highest, so he stands first. Great. So that's how you can do you can apply the filter formula. And another way to do is, all you can do is just select the particular range that you want to go to, select and sort largest to smallest. So all you need to do is just select the particular range that you want, sort and filter largest to smallest. It will give an option, that they have identified there are other expanding selections also. So what do you want to do? Do you want to change this entire structure? So if I click expand the selection and then sort, that's how I can get my data. Alright guys, so we have already covered most of the commonly used tools, and close to 70 to 75% of your tools are used from the home toolbar. Now If you move to a different tab, that is the insert. Okay, so over here you can get different options, like it will ask you to create a pie diagram, or to create different a chart to it. So this is where the toolbar would be. So over here, if you want to select any insert any shapes or use any symbols, you can do that. All you need to do is just select it, and here you can get different options, how you want to use it. If not, then the most important uh, function that you can get in that insert would be a pivot table. So what is a pivot table? So basically, a pivot table is used to summarize your data using it helps you to arrange your and summarize your complicated data, so that it can show a specific details. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this entire range, and then I'm going to click on pivot table. Now it will ask, now over here you might get a different icon that where it asks you whether you want to create a pivot table on the new worksheet, or you want to create it on the same, which is the existing worksheet. So if I select on new, so there will be one more sheet that will get added over here. So let's click on OK, and here we go. So my original data is over here, and this is where I got the pivot. Now I want to know a specific, so let's say name. I'm adding the name in the row column. So these are different columns where you can actually add it. This is how you will get the data. So since this particular option is used to summarize your data, I'm just gonna quickly add names in the row columns, and I just wanted to know, this person, like all these students, how much have they scored in the English. So values is where it will automatically calculate the formulas. So here we go. So Kailash has scored 48, Mahesh has scored 80 in English. So just to revalidate the data, I'm going to go back to sheet 1. I'm going to check Kailash has scored 48 and Mahesh has scored 80. So which means that's how I'm going to get a specific data, or if I want to summarize a particular data, this is the use of the pivot table. Guys, so we have learned, so just to quickly summarize this particular topic, so we have covered most of the basic functions, like the home toolbar. So in home toolbar we covered the how to change the font of that particular cell or particular text, then how to do an alignment, how to use the number, or add just a percentage to it. Then we have also learned about different styles, that is adding conditional formatting, and then we have learned about how to sort and filter the data. In insert tab we have learned how to add pictures and shapes, etc. We have learned how to add charts to it. We have seen just taken an overview about the charts, and then how to add a word art, and there are most of the common functions that were already covered in the home tab, in the home toolbar. So finally we learned about the pivot table, that is how it summarizes your data in a specified manner. Then we learned about the page layout. If you want to change the page layout maybe into a landscape mode, or maybe you want to set up margins to it, you can do that from the page layout toolbar. And then adding different themes to it, so depending upon your requirement, suitability of your particular document, data, report, or whatever you want to call it as. So that's how the different themes can be applied over there. Alright guys, so thank you very much. I hope this training was helpful. So I try to cover most of the basic and most commonly used tools. So I hope you can practice and make use of it. So if you have any questions guys, you can definitely email me. The email link is in the description box. So I hope this learning can be more fruitful, and please share this across to people who find Excel to be very challenging or very difficult. So this is the base start of MS Excel. So please stay tuned and subscribe to us guys, so that we can try to bring more training videos. Thank you very much everyone.